Hello there everyone, welcome back to a brand new Lego Chima rewatch episode video. Today I'm going to talk about the 9th episode of Season 1 Gorillas Gone Wild. This episode aired on the 28th of August 2013, written by John DeLavalani and directed by Peter Peterson. Obviously, Gorillas Gone Wild is the 9th episode in Lego Legends of Chima and the 9th episode in Season 1 overall. Obviously, the previous one was the biggest race ever, obviously featuring Dom de la Bouche and Shadow Winds, which was his first appearance, and the next episode will be Foxtrot. But let's talk about obviously Gorillas Gone Wild. At the flower field on the hilltop, the gorillas are meditating, and Grumlow tells them that the Great Mallow is coming to let the tower flower grow as it channels their life force. First of all, the gorillas are very hippie coded, right? So there we go. They love peace and prosperity and love and stuff like that. So it's really funny that each tribe in Chima has a certain like stereotype towards them or from them. So the gorillas are the hippies of Chima, which is weird to say, but it's the truth. So there we go. At the crocodile swamp, Cragger is practicing with his spear when he cuts a tree and it falls onto the log that Cruller is sitting on, obviously tossing her into the air and placing her in the branches of another tree. Cruller then angrily screams at Cragger to go practice somewhere else, but he doesn't leave right away since he is the king of the crocodiles and can do whatever he wants. This is very much Joffrey coded from Game of Thrones. Cragger and Joffrey both do what they want because they're the king of the people, right? So anyhow, because he can do whatever he wants, but when Cruller continues screaming at him, he finally decides to practice somewhere else. Obviously, back at the tower flower, the gorillas are still meditating on the flower when Gregor arrives in the nearby forest, still practicing, but he accidentally cuts down the tower flower and the gorillas fall to the ground, which angers the gorillas and they start chasing Cragger for cutting down their tower flower. Cragger tries to use a chi orb to take on the gorillas, but they easily take him out, and then he tries to flee on his speeder back to the swamp. But the gorillas then make it to their strikers and continue their pursuit. I want to say the gorilla strikers, I always like that Lego set, it's really fun to actually see obviously Lego sets in the show being used in a great way, right? So anyhow, I just want to point out that the Gorilla Striker set is one of the highlights, I suppose, of the first Lego Chima wave, in my opinion. I always wanted it because it included like 3 gorillas. We had Gluna, we also had Gorzan and Grumlow, right? So yeah, there we go. Anyhow, Plover is sitting on a rock when Cragger speeds past him and he tries to get Cragger's attention but is stampeded by the gorillas. Just then the mysterious Shadowwind shows up. Plover tries to get him to reveal his identity but Shadowwind speeds away somewhere else. Obviously, Gluna then arrives at the Lion Temple to get the lion's help in stopping the gorillas from attacking the crocs. In my opinion, the crocodiles are strong, but I think the gorillas are stronger because obviously they have much more, I would say, force in them, right? I mean, if you were to have like a gorilla versus a crocodile, who would win, right? Would the crocodile win or the gorilla? I think the gorilla, but sure. Rafael knows that ruining their vibe is something that gorillas do not take well, so Legrevis then sends out a lion distress roar and the eagles come to help, and they set off to stop the gorillas. Meanwhile, the gorillas are at the crocodile swamp but can't get across because of the strikers, but Grumlow uses the 3 branches above to swing across. Crowley and Krug, obviously the goats that they are, on the other side, notice the gorillas are coming and order the fortress to shut as the gorillas begin their attack. Grumlow is holding the fortress gate open but gets stuck, so Gorzan uses the chi orb and uses his strength to get Grumlow out. But the gate closes, but Gorzan uses a rope to let the other gorillas up, and they then storm the fortress and enter the throne room. The gorillas are overwhelmed and taken out. The gorillas are overwhelming and taken out several guards when Cruller shows up and notices how badly things have gone. She tells Cragger that he is useless and takes him outside where she uses the pursuer plant on him and has him send himself and the crocs to a place called the Deep Swamp. The gorillas see the crocs fleeing and they swing their way after them. Just then the lions arrive and Laval wonders how the gorillas got across the swamp, but Legrevis says that they went over and left the trail for them to follow, and so they set off after him. At the same time, the eagles catch up and Iris spots the way to go, and so she guides other eagles, obviously. The gorillas are still pursuing the crocs when Cragger asks Crueler and how deep into the swamp do they need to go, and she says until the trees can't hold the gorillas anymore. She's proven right as the gorillas are about to catch them when they grab onto a small branch, but because the strikers are too heavy, the branch sags and causes the gorillas to crash into each other and fall into the swamp. So there we go. The crocs then surround the gorillas and Cragger orders his troops to attack. The gorillas can't fight back, obviously too. The lions arrive at the croc fortress, but LEGOLEGENDS then points out that they are just beyond the fortress and right after them. As they arrive, the eagles also show up and offer their air support to Laval, who holds onto the rope. Air has dropped him off. Cragger then orders to attack the lions, but LEGOLEGENDS retreats back into the swamp to where the bigger croc ships can't follow, so Cragger sends attack skiffs after them. Laval then lands onto the small island and greets the gorillas. The eagles then send down the hooks so they can get out of the swamp. Just then the rest of the lions keep going deeper into the forest, where Longtooth is able to knock some crocs out of the water, but just when they think they are safe, they are then completely surrounded by crocs who fire at LEGOLEGENDS, knocking him. Obviously, Longtooth and Leonidas, as well as the other lions, into the swamp, back with Laval, with the eagles are trying to get the gorillas out of the swamp, but the strikers are too heavy, like I said, and are slowing them down. Iglor then tells Eris to hit the turbo talons switch that he installed into her jet, which gives the jet some extra kick, allowing Eris to carry the strikers out of the swamp. Just as Cragger is about to strike down LEGOLEGENDS, the eagles and Laval arrive with the gorillas, and the gorillas use the trees they are carrying to attack the crocs and send them into the trees as well. So there you go. Cragger then uses the croc launcher and takes out Eris's engines, causing her to crash into the swamp with Laval, and he falls into the swamp, losing his life jacket in his process. He flares about until he finds some bellow plants near the swamp. He takes a few and floats in the air. When Cragger notices him, he starts heading toward Laval, who is still collecting the plants to stay afloat. Cragger arrives and starts chanting an old crocodile rhyme as he shoots, obviously, Laval's plants down, causing him to fall onto the swamp, which turns out was too shallow. Laval then jump attacks Cragger for nearly sending him to drown when Cragger tries to play it off as if he knew it was a shallow swamp. The whole time, which Laval doesn't fall for, so he grabs Cragger by the tail and tosses him away into a tree. Eris then shows up and picks up Laval, and they fly off away from obviously past Cragger and Crueler. The gorillas are able to chase away the crocs and the lions, and gorilla are victorious in their battles, obviously, with the crocs, and celebrate their victory too. Cragger and Crueler are stuck in the trees, and Crueler berates Cragger for letting the gorillas defeat them, but Cragger turns it back on the Crueler, reminding her that if it was her idea to send the gorillas into the swamp, but Crueler then turns it back again, telling him that it was still his decision since he is the leader, obviously. But when Cragger gets down off his tree, he points out that she is right, he's the leader, and since he is the leader, he makes the decision to leave Crueler up there in the tree for a bit longer before letting her down, so he leaves her alone. Crueler then screams for help when Plover arrives. He states that he cannot help Crueler out of the tree, but he can peck her teeth. She rejects Plover, does it anyway, while also discussing Shadowwind to her, but Crueler then gets frustrated and screams out Cragger's name as well. So there you go, that's it, that's the end of the episode. Obviously, a very interesting and very underrated episode in my opinion. But yeah, alright, let's talk about the cast as well. David Attar as Cragger, Jeff Evans Todd as Crowley, obviously Bethany Brown as Crueler, David Attar as Krug, Michael Patrick as Iglor as well, Bethany Brown as Eris as well, Gluna as voiced by Megan Kinsley, obviously Scott Shans was Gorilla Brawler as well, unnamed gorilla, or I suppose unnamed gorilla, but his name is just Gorilla Brawler without any other significant names. So there you go. Michael Patrick as Gorza and Jesse Inokala as Grumlow. Bill Courage as LaGrevis. Scott Shans as Laval. Obviously Bill Courage as Longtooth as well. And Jesse Inokala, I think, as Plover. So there we go. Alright, non-speaking roles are obviously Leonidas and Shadowwind. So there we go. Alright, very, very interesting. Let's talk about the fun facts. The episode centers on the gorilla tribe at the flower field on the hilltop, where they meditate, obviously, and Grumlow announces that the Great Mallow is coming to help the tower flower grow, channeling their life force into it. That's very, very interesting. Gorillas Gone Wild is both the 9th episode of the series and the 9th episode of Season 1, marking a mid-season highlight. The episode showcases the special abilities of the Gorilla Mechs, which are designed for land but struggle in water-based challenges, emphasizing LEGOCHIMA's creative vehicle designs. This installment further develops Cragger's character as a mischievous antagonist and explores inter-tribe rivalry dynamics. The setting includes Chima's unique magical realm featuring lush jungles, sacred temples and floating islands, obviously reflecting the imaginative backdrops shared across the stories. The Gorilla tribe is depicted as a wise and meditative community, tying into their cultural lore and spiritual connection with natural elements like the tower flower as well. The episode demonstrates teamwork themes as multiple tribes collaborate to overcome obstacles, reinforcing lessons and cooperation and problem solving. So there we go. LEGO Legends of Chima as a theme ran alongside TV series, video games and other media that focused on anthropomorphic animal tribes with both magical powers and advanced mechanized technology. The series followed the conflicts among 19 animal tribes, with the gorillas representing one of the most intellectual and organized groups as well. Obviously, these fun facts highlight the combination of action, humor and world building that makes Gorillas Gone Wild a memorable episode for LEGO Legends of Chima and the showcase of the series' unique imagination and character development. Alright, the next episode will be Foxtrot, but until then, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will check you later. Goodbye everyone, or should I say FORCHIMA.